Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 2007 Toyota Yaris. Up front is a 1.5 liter inline 4, and down below is a 4-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this Yaris today for one reason. I haven't driven one in quite some time. I really enjoy these cars. I like them a lot, and I'm about to share with you why I feel that way. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. But let's get back to that 1.5 liter under the hood. All Yarises in this time period came with the same 1.5 liter. There wasn't a bigger 2 liter option or anything like that. It was just the 1.5, and Toyota used this engine in quite a few products and for quite some time. It is a little down on power by modern today's standards, but it still gets the vehicle along. It gets good gas mileage, and that was the main focus of the Yaris at the time. Like I said, paired to it is a 4-speed automatic. However, you could find these in manual, and I actually do have a manual sedan review on my channel if you'd like to go search that out, or that'll be linked at the end of the video if you do want to watch that. Last but not least, the Yaris is front-wheel drive. They never made all-wheel drive Yarises here in the States. So how does it feel to drive the 2007 Toyota Yaris? It has more pep in its step than you would think. Is it a peppy, fast vehicle? No, not quite. But it gets out of its own way every once in a while, and that's all I can really ask for. This was a city car, commuter car, economy car, and so it drives, handles, and feels much like that category. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, directly in front of me, I don't have anything. We'll talk about the gauge cluster in a second, but the steering wheel also doesn't have anything on it. I get my stalks for the turn signals and wipers behind it, but that's it. The steering wheel is this hard plastic material, not very forgiving, and you'll see that throughout the rest of this Yaris's interior. This was a base model, and so not many features. Speaking of which, climate vent off to the left, but then we do have a cup holder. So early on, big friggin' bottle test for the video. Normally they're not this soon after the start. It is kind of a smart idea of having the cup holder in front of the vent so you can heat up your drink or cool down your drink depending on the weather and your climate options. Then we do have the gauge dimmer switch is found down below, and moving out of the door, we have the latch to get in and out, and our crank for the window, 2007 manual windows. Moving into the center, this is where you'll find your gauge cluster up at the top. So this is really the continuation of the Toyota Echo that came in the early 2000s, and that had its gauge cluster in the center. This is the same idea as that, and honestly, it's not hard to get used to seeing it up there. I just kind of naturally finds it after a couple tries, so not the hardest thing in the world. You do have a digital odometer, clock, and fuel reading off to the right, and it has a little light to tell you what you look like while driving your Yaris. Moving down below, we have the hazard switch and climate vents, and then the typical Toyota radio. I've seen this in so many cars. It feels like an old friend at this point, like I'm getting a drink with a college buddy. I like it. It works. It's original. Not much more to say. Then we have our climate controls, organized in a slightly odd way, but fan speed off to the left, where to send it off to the right, temperature down below. Pretty simple layout there. We do have some cubbies around the sides of that center stack, which is nice to see. And then we have the shifter, which is a jigsaw style shifter from Toyota. They still use this style shifter in some of their modern vehicles, which is crazy to see, but it works. And that's all Toyota really cares about. And down below, we have some dead switches and the parking brake. We do get a little 12-volt outlet and a center armrest that opens. No surprises or interesting things to note about that. The seats are cloth. They have this sort of checkerboard pattern, which I like. It sort of breaks it up a little bit, makes it look a little bit less mundane, but they are pretty mundane. Not super comfortable, but not terrible either. They do the job. It's like a bench seat. Sure, it's good for bird watching, but would I want to live on it? Not quite, and that's how I feel about these seats. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2007 Toyota Yaris sedan, and a couple of things to note. First of all, I'm sitting behind myself. Head is coming close to the ceiling if I pop up, I would hit it. But if I just slouch my back a little bit, I'm fine. Knee room is good too, and I'm 5'11". I'm not a small guy, and I fit back here, which can't be said about a lot of other economy cars. I could feel like 2 hairs sticking to the headliner. Anyway, pop out cup holder back here, center armrest here with 1 square cup holder in it. Obviously, it can fit a child seat, which is nice to see. And overall, again, it's economy without punishment back here. It's not trying to beat you up. It's just a small car, and it's working with what it's got. So, nice to see that. Let's hop into the very back. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, around the back of the Yaris. Key in here. Pop it up like that. And as you could tell, plenty of space back here. Again, it's just working with what it has. It's not trying to make you want, oh, you know, I should have gotten the Camry for more trunk space. I should have gotten the Corolla for more trunk space. No, this is actually very, very adequate. And I'm very happy to see that about the Yaris. And that's something that I've always loved about the Yaris. Tons of cargo room without compromise, and that's very nice to see. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I've always had a soft spot for the Yaris, but I don't think that it's like outwardly pretty. I don't think if this was put up next to a Michelangelo painting, it would win many awards or get many glances. Excuse my brakes. I think it was definitely fitting for the time, and especially in terms of economy vehicles and whatnot. But at the end of the day, it's take it or leave it. However, with all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. Why did I want to drive yet another Toyota Yaris here on the channel? Well, first of all, you guys loved the first video so much that I thought I would at least try to give you a second one and fulfill your desperate cries for more Yaris content. But why do I love these cars so much? I think that these really nail the economy cars. It doesn't feel like Toyota was actively trying to punish me for buying something cheaper than a Camry or cheaper than the Corolla. It just feels like it gets less things than those cars, which it does, but not in a malicious way of just, hey, you know, you're not ready to pay for heated seats. You're not ready to pay for power windows. You're not ready for that stuff, and that's okay. You don't have to be ready to take on the world at age 16, let alone 18 or 21. That's how this feels. It feels like a training car. And again, not in a bad way. Feels like my first relationship or first crush. And this to me is the second best economy car ever made, the Yaris as a whole. My favorite, I think personally, the best economy car ever made was the Honda Fit. It drove a little bit nicer. It came with a really nice 6-speed manual, and they stitch welded the chassis from the factory. So it was really rigid. You could take corners. You could fit a lot of stuff in them. I love the Honda Fit. But really, if you want to equate it down to things, that is Coca-Cola. It's my favorite soda, but this is Pepsi, and it all is going to come down to personal preference if you're more of a Coke person or Pepsi person. Now, I don't drink soda anymore. I gave it up 4 years ago, but I really think that the analogy sticks. And then, of course, you have your Dr. Pepper people who are a little bit odd and out there, but hey, they still get love and bring something to the table. And then there's also like cream soda people too, which don't really fit in. It's kind of a different drink, and ginger beer starts getting equated into that. And then you got the people that just drink club soda with no flavoring, and those people are insane, and you don't want to sit with them for too long. But anyway, this is Pepsi. To me, this is the second best. When you can't find a Fit, you find a Yaris, and the car is going to treat you incredibly well. This car has almost 240,000 miles on it without any major issues. It's only on its second owner, and the first owners only sold it because it needed a starter motor, and they just decided to finally upgrade cars. This was not long ago. This car works. It does everything I want it to do. The only reason the Honda Fit has a little bit of an edge is that it is a little bit more fun to drive, and the interior does feel a little bit more spacious. But again, I'm grasping at straws and splitting hairs. This car is wonderful, and I really enjoy Yarises whenever I get the opportunity to drive them. They're just happy little guys. What can you say? I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Carl for letting me take out his 07 Yaris. We've been talking about trying to do this review for quite some time, and I'm very thankful we were finally able to make it work. Carl's been absolutely wonderful to work with. I can't even count on 2 hands how many cars we've filmed together. He's wonderful. I always look forward to filming with him, and I can't thank him enough. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.